interest in games. I put a hyphen there on purpose because I wanted to talk to you about interest. I know most of us here are in accounting, but how much of us think about that in our personal lives? About how much interest we pay? So a couple weeks ago, Annette gave a speech about budgeting and how we could all do better to budget. And yes, I completely agree that we can all do better to budget, but that's easier said than done. For most people, I think the easiest one to do is budget your interest. So I looked at some stats earlier, and it says the average American owes between 10 and 20 grand in credit card debt. I wish mine was that low. So, if you have high interest rates, the normal interest rate I think is 22 to 23%. So if you take $10,000 in debt, just to keep math simple, you would pay $2,300 a year just in interest, which is absolutely ludicrous. Which is why you play the interest game. Now the interest game, my sister actually taught me this game. It's where banks are more than willing to give you new credit cards because they want you to spend more money. You play it right back to them. Because how it works is banks, I get offers all the time. 0%, 18 months. It's like, well, yeah, you open the new card, they give you like a $15,000 credit. If you're good about it, all you do is transfer previous debt onto the new card. So you take that $10,000 of debt you already had, that you're paying 23% interest. You transfer it onto a zero interest card for the next 18 months. And yeah, there might be a 2 or 3% fee attached to it. But even in that, instead of paying $2,300, you're paying $300 in interest. So you've just saved $2,000 and you've done absolutely nothing in your life except take 20 minutes to make a phone call or fill an application. The interesting part about that, though, is you have to be careful. When this is where many people get in trouble. So in the interest game, the banks still charge the 23% interest, even if they say it's 0%. It's 0% if you haven't paid off within 18 months. If you don't, all that interest accumulates. Which is how you get to phase 2 of the game. You transfer it again. You move to the next credit card. I don't know about you guys. I know I'm probably not normal. My wife and I both make a decent amount of money. So we probably have at least 10 credit card offers a month come in. And they're all 0%, 18 months, 3 or 4% fees. So all you have to do is just keep transferring from one card to the next. I mean, it'd be really nice if I actually just stopped spending. But, I really like going on those trips to Utah and Oregon and on vacation, and you only have your kids once. So, to tell them, yeah, we're not going to go on that trip because I can't afford it. It's like, oh yeah, I can. I can just throw in the 0% credit card. We're good to go. But that is one of the pitfalls. You just got to make sure to keep transferring. Because if you don't, you will get hit with massive amounts of debt, of credit card debt. So that is how to play the game. You just keep transferring. And even if you can't get a 0% card, it's the same thing. If you're paying 20% and somebody's offering you a 5% card for 18 months, take it. Because it's still a 15% improvement on your debt. The other part of that as well is you have to be good enough to not just keep adding more debt. I have some friends, it was like, hey, they got a new credit card, like, hey, I have $10,000 more in balance that I can spend. Yes, let's go do it. You're like, no, don't do that. Of course, that's what they want you to do, because then you're just even more debt. So you gotta definitely be careful about that. And the other part of the game, I forgot to mention, is you switch banks. So if you have 10 grand with Citibank, you can't transfer that onto a new city card. You have to transfer it onto somebody else. So you just do the ping pong effect. Go from City Card to Bank of America to U.S. Bank, back to Citi. You just get them all going. It's great. It's a lot of fun. You just got to also make sure to have a spreadsheet set up or something to actually track, well, to track the gaming, and also to track when the interest rate, the 0% interest are end, because it takes them about a month, 3 to 4 weeks usually, to get the new credit card with the balance actually transferred. And you don't want to accidentally miss that window, because then you get that huge interest fee, which you really don't want. So that is it. Just wanted to share the interest game. Thank you.
David,
Yes.
thank you so much for a wonderful speech. I think you did a great job on bringing up a topic that nobody really likes to talk about, and that is finances. Finances is something that we do not teach in school, and everybody sort of feels their way through life with their own finances. So I think it's a very interesting topic. I've got to admit, though, I have a big bias against credit cards. So I have to admit, so I'm trying to stay very positive on your speech here, David. I was like, when I was over here on the side and you started talking about credit cards, I was like, oh, God, I wish maybe I would have evaluated sin. But one of the things I really, really liked about your speech was you had a great intro. You got our attention really, really quick. Interesting games. Ooh, who doesn't like interest in board games? So immediately I thought we were talking about board games. And then secondly, you said interest we pay. And I was like, wait a minute here. Board games, pay, how are those? And then you brought up a third one, budget. And then all of a sudden going, aha, so we're going in an entirely different direction. And I like that, because it was attention grabbing, and it made everybody focus and concentrate on what you were about to say. Things that I thought you could do better. Let's start with those. I thought you ended your ending really short.
Yeah.
You know, I thought you could have had a little better closing, maybe go back through the topics that you talked about. You know, you brought up, $300 versus on the transfer fees versus the $2,300 in interest. I thought that was a very valid point. Where's my clicker?
I'm writing. I'm writing. So
You'll find out.
The other thing I thought you could have talked about is maybe incorporate a little bit about what the alternative is to playing the interest rate game, like paying down debt. I thought you could have gone. I thought you had a perfect opportunity to go into that different subject, and maybe that's a whole different speech even. But anyway, overall, David, another great speech. Thank you for embracing us.